Hi, here's a wee follow-up to my last wee film I made about the family. Remember we spoke about Annie, my dad's sister? Well, Annie had a daughter and she was called Dorothy. She had been to Scotland a couple of times that I can recall, but that was before Dorothy got married. I'm sure, if I remember correctly, Annie brought her up to Scotland for a few days to, to meet Annie's older brother, which was my dad. And that was a long time ago. Well, Dorothy got married, and of course, this was an old photograph of Annie on the right hand side with Dorothy about to go into the church and get hitched up, so to speak. This is a photograph of Dorothy and her husband. Her husband was a policeman, I believe, in the Warrington area, Manchester area. A big guy, eh? Well, I can remember a way back, I think Tez went to see her for me, I'm sure it was, he did. And I managed to get a phone number. And I remember phoning Dorothy and I managed to speak to her. This was after she was married, of course. And I asked her if she had such a thing of a photograph of her father, because he was my godfather. And Dorothy says, Raymond, I do know he was your godfather from records we have, but I only have one photograph and I treasure it and I don't let it out of my sight. I says, I'm sorry, I thought you may have had a few. She said, I'll tell you what I'll do. I'll speak to my daughter. I don't know anything about this Facebook and computer. I'm not into that, but my daughter is. So what I'll do, I'll get her to copy this one and only photo I have, and I'll get her to send it to you. So I gave her my address and all the rest of it. She says, this photo is all I have of my dad. As you know, he died young in an accident regarding a lorry. That was his work. But I don't have any other photographs, and neither does my mum. But I'll send you it anyway. Well, a while passed, and I received an envelope through the post, and it was a letter from Dorothy, and there was a number of photographs in it. One of the photographs was here, and she told me who the individuals were. They were grandkids, that sort of thing. And as you can see, they were more or less retired. Her hubby, that's Dorothy, on the right hand side. She was very small, like me in a way. And she sent me this other photograph here. Let's see if you can see it better. Now you can see them wrapped up there. Now Dorothy always says they've always had a fascination of the Scottish scenery. And believe it or not, they had this sort of fetish to go to Largs. They went to Largs more or less every year. Well, you know the Scottish weather, you can see them all. They're freezing, they're wrapped up, but they loved it. And she mentioned that in a letter to me too. But she says, getting back to the photograph, Raymond, this is the photograph, the only photograph I have of my dad. And I did copy it and put it on another film earlier on when I was talking about the family. But it's just a thought, she shared that photograph with me. I love all these photographs because they're history. And I've got this one in beside my old photographs of the family, the ones I've managed to get a hold of. But it's funny, isn't it? This is the only photograph someone has of their father. Hard to believe that. But then again, this was during the war. A lot of people lost more or less all their relatives. Mine's, well, my parents never ever talked about the war. No one did. And that's a wee story about Dorothy. Sadly we lost Dorothy not so long ago, but we still remember them. That's all for the now. Bye.